What's up guys, and welcome back to One Life Cars. Today you join me for the BMW Z4. Try and get a bit of an exhaust note in there. Anyway, let's jump in the car and talk about today's video, which is going to be how to locate your OBD port, or OBD2 port. I always get it wrong around. OBD ports for the last time. And I also give you a quick talk through on how to actually use a code reader. This is a very, very basic, cheap one, but it gets you a code which you can then search on the internet to find out what is wrong with your BMW. Now, these M54 engines, I suppose it's more common stuff like coil packs and that, but yeah, you're going to end up using this at some point. So it's a good little thing to know how to locate the port. Now it's dead easy on these, so I've already got the door open, as you can see, so it just gives you a bit more light, a bit more access to move around, and it makes it a lot easier to find. So the best way to do it is to go about where your engine bonnet release or hood release, if you're in America, catches, which is down here just below the boot opening button. If you own one of these cars, you'll most definitely know where the bonnet release is, because you would have had to go under it at some point, even if it's not just for general service. Now, looking up from that, you'll find a little catch, a little something you can stick your finger in. Something else, ooh, tempting, what does that do? Stick your finger in it and pop down. And there you have it. Your OBD2 port is unveiled. Now, please ignore the dirt everywhere. It's in one of the places where if you're getting in and out of it, and I do sometimes go to work in this car, I probably shouldn't, you catch it with your foot just getting out of the thing. It's very easy. So all this area, it's actually normally worse than this. I've just actually wiped the worst off. It just tends to get covered in dirt. I live in the countryside, especially in winter. There's lots of mud around. So yeah, this is your OBD2 port. Now the car's running right now. A bulb out somewhere, that's new. So I'm going to turn it off first. Key out. You can leave the key in the ignition, I think that makes a fine bit of difference. Make sure it's all the way off though. I'm going to get my OBD2 scan tool, as you can see here, because it's a tool for scanning codes, and erasing them too. We'll get to that. If this car won't have any codes, it might do now. I've not tested it for a while. Let's hope it does, so I can give you a more informative video on how to erase them. But at the same time, hope it doesn't, because then, yeah, you get my drift. So we're going to stick this in whichever way around it goes. It's like a triangular shaped triangle. Yes, we'll go with that. Find which way it goes round and make sure it's in properly. Straight away that'll light up, but it won't work like this. So you need to now turn your ignition onto the first setting, so all your warning lights and stuff come on, but the car's not running. So that stage, and leave it there. Then on this, if I press this button, I'm looking for the word can. When you see the word can, you know it's worked and connected properly. Don't ask me why. I don't know, it might be some obvious, but yeah. When we get to this bit, it says read. Yeah, haha for me, good, but not so good for a more interesting video. I have no codes. You see that pop up? So DTC, that's your actual codes. So we'll click on this. By the way, I know this is one specific tool, but most of your tools up to £30 will look similar to this, have a similar amount of buttons to this, and look very similar on the screen, give you the same sort of information. They're all pretty much the same until you get to your more advanced stuff with a big sort of, you know, the big tablet like iPad looking things, where they're a lot more advanced and a lot more detailed to them. I don't have one of them. When I do, there's sure to be a video on it. But for now, you can click on DTC saying no codes. I do have an Alfa Romeo there, which also you think that's not definitely have a code. Why don't you show us on that? It doesn't. It's been behaved now for about a month straight, which is strange, but I'm not complaining. Normally I get a code on the Alfa EGR, normally it's diesel, every week. So let's pretend we do have a code. So you click on this, and where it says no codes, it will show you a code, P8140 or something. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of previous codes I've used. They're all different, but then you can Google whatever that code says, you know, BMW Z4 Bird code, and you'll find the problem pretty quick. And you'll also find 100 forums with 100 debates on the best ways to fix and solve the problem. It gets interesting, but yeah, it will tell you what's wrong with the car. So let's pretend we do have a code. We'll use this scroll button to go to erase, which is number 2 on this. The next one along, it will be on most of them. You'll get your actual code reading bit, and then the erase bit is the second option. So if there was a code, I'd click erase. It say yes or no, question mark, click yes, enter, erase, done. Sometimes on my Alpha, it says erase fail. It always says erase fail, but it doesn't fail, it works. It erases the light off the dash and the code and keeps the car happy. But it still says every time I click erase and yes, it'll say erase fail, but it's not failed. Oh, did it do it then? Yeah. But it would have still worked if there was a code to actually erase. And then if you have had a code previously like this, you can then scroll along a bit more to rescan, and it'll rescan it and confirm you have no code still. When you've done with that, I always like to turn the ignition off first. I don't know if it makes a difference, I think you meant to, and then pull it out, and then we put our flap on, close your door, and do a burnout into the distance. Now you know your car's great with no code until about 100 meters down the road when you get the next one, but that's another story for another video. So yeah, there's going to be some interesting, not codes on the dash, but certainly problems to show you guys about this car as we get into a little series we're going to do on it. Real interesting car, real fun to drive, but yeah, sometimes more trouble than they're worth, these BMs. Anyway, that is how to locate your OBD 2 port and plug into it and read a code on the BMW Z4. I hope you found this useful, guys. If you did, usual scripts, give it a like, it does help me. Subscribe if you're new and you watch my videos. Being subscribed really helps me as well, and it helps you see the next video on a car that I'm guessing you're interested in or like to work on, like the BMW Z4 or the Alfa Romeo Mito and the other God knows how many vehicles I've got on that channel. Thank you again, until next time, peace.